little better than the last generation. So I think I'm a better mom than my mom was. Not saying my mom was a bad mom. She did the best that she could. I am doing better because I don't beat my kids. I still yell at them a little more than I should, but I know how to apologize. But that upbringing, I think most people who've had that kind of dysfunction, right? I'm always looking to put the fun back into dysfunction. But that was how I learned how to, unscripted. So I can talk about this now without breaking down and without saying, why me? And it's not fair. And, I should have had a better upbringing. A mother shouldn't do that. How could God let a mom do this to me? And I lived many, many years, decades, with that anger and frustration and blame and shame. And the good side is it really spurred me into this accomplishment mentality, because that was the one thing that she actually would praise. So, don't tell me I can't do something, because dang it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it in less time than anybody else. But what it didn't take away was that feeling of I'm broken, and I don't like myself. And I would get an award or finish something, or first one to PhD in a short time, first one to finish dissertation within the year. And then people would say, wow, look at you. Isn't that wonderful? And I go, thank you, thank you. And then as soon as I was alone, the voice would be, yeah, you fooled them. You're really not that great. And if they really got to know you, you are blah, blah, blah. So that critic that I talked about on Joshua's show, that internalized mom, that internalized critic really drove my life car off of a cliff on a daily basis, because no matter what I tried to do to prove that I was lovable, I was never lovable. And that is a storyline that I think so many people have. This is not my story. This is 7 out of 10, or Oprah, my honorable moniker, she says it's 8 out of 10. I just went online just to look at current statistics on that, and it's up to 93% of us live in some kind of a dysfunctional upbringing. So it's what kills me, though, is that if we're the majority, right? If we're the majority, why is it that we think there's something wrong with us, right? So why do we think we're damaged beyond fixing? Why do we think that we got to catch up because the ones who got all the stuff and got all the goodies are the ones that had normal childhoods? That's baloney. That's another BS bullshitaki this time, because as we are keeping ourselves in that box. We are keeping ourselves in that damaged place that we got to fix. There's nothing wrong with us. We went through what we went through to chisel us into the beauty and the wonder and the unique part of who we are now in the present for a reason. And I can choose to believe that there's something wrong with me and accept that BS, which I did for decades, until I realized, like, wait a minute, I'm doing this to me. This isn't about what was done to me. This is about what was done for me and how I could move through that to another place, to a even more beautiful place. I have a little story, but I've been talking for a while, so
no, go right ahead. So I want you to continue that story. The question I have for you is because you obviously had that big aha moment, and usually, in my experience and in past interviews I've done, outside this, is there is that deepest pain that becomes the catalyst to that ultimate purpose, where that mind shifts, that heart shifts of saying no more. Can you take us there?
Yeah.
About your life?
I So no accident, because I had a default of feeling unworthy and unloved and undesirable. I chose a man to marry who continued that theme. So he wasn't physically abusive, but he was, and I don't even like the psychological terms, but let's just put it this way. We were two damaged little beings who got together, and he played out his side and I played out mine. And I was constantly rejected in every way. Okay, so you can read into that. Mm-hmm. And so my sentence was 9.2 years. And I finally, after 6 times of trying to leave, after a betrayal or, cheating, I finally got the resolve to leave, and filed and all of that. But then the pain in that pain coupled with the mom pain, it just took me down. I went from drinking socially, this is unfiltered, drinking socially, to an everyday drinker because I could not handle the pain. I used alcohol to numb all of that was just now, it used to be a little voice, a little critical voice. With the two events colliding, it was a constant. And then, I went to the doctor and he's like, oh, well, I have trouble sleeping. And he's like, oh, it's understandable. Try some of these sleep pills. So that's like, it's way too easy to get addicted to things that you think are going to help you, because all I wanted to do was sleep. And so I can remember a morning where I woke up and I this happens to a lot of people, you just know you can't do this anymore. I'm done. I can't do it. I started thinking about, while I was driving, and I don't even think I've put this in the book. So this is interesting. I forgot, or I just didn't put it in the book. But I remember driving down the 405 and looking at the center divider and saying, this could be the easy way out, right? Just this way instead of that way, and I wouldn't hurt anymore. So I can understand people wanting to end their life. I absolutely can. I actually just had Ola Ray, who is Michael Jackson's dance partner in the Thriller, right? She was on my show on, I don't know what this is going to air, but just yesterday. And, she confessed on the show for the first time ever that she also wanted to end her life because of all the sexual advances that were happening from producers and directors, so that was a huge conversation. But so I think that it's understandable that when the pain is so strong that you want to do something to end that pain, to end the voices, to end the anguish. But suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary state of mind. And I say that because because I'm worried about the suicidal thoughts that are a side effect of the medication now. And I don't want to piss off the pharmaceutical companies, the $1 billion industry. And I've already gotten into it with some psychiatrists because my clients who never had suicidal thoughts go on medication, and then they call me at 3 a.m. wanting to kill themselves. So I'm personally, on this, there are people who are helped by medication. I don't even, I'm not criticizing you. If it works for you, great. But if it's not working for you, that's who I'm talking to. You really can work from the inside out and cancel and detonate and uninfect those BS belief systems that keep you in that dark place. So that moment of waking up one more night, swearing I'm not going to drink, swearing I'm not going to take the sleep pills, swearing that, I'm not going to hate and blame and shame anymore. And I woke up and I said, help me, God. And, got on my knees, and that began the journey back. And so I think, whether I'm not actually religious, so just in case I just dropped the G-bomb, so don't worry. I'm actually spiritual, as I love that definition that religion is for people who want to avoid going to hell, and spirituality is for those of us who've already been there. So,
I love it.
I'm definitely spiritual. I'm definitely, but I think the moment of realizing that I'm not alone, and that's all God is for me, is knowing that I'm connected to a whole, energy field of wonder and bliss, and that it's my birthright to be plugged into that I'm not an accident, that I am worthy, that there's a reason that all these horrible things happen to me. And so that I began that journey to really allow that I didn't have the answer, that the way that all my good ideas led me to that point of where I was, so I knew that there was an answer, there was a way out, and I just stopped fighting. I stopped running. I just stayed still. And that's when I began the journey of, reconnecting with, you want to call it a higher power or an energy. I call him my UPS man. He's my universal power source. And I plug into him every morning in prayer and meditation, and he delivers, just the day, whatever, the day's going to bring. And it's always good because at 9:00 every morning, I have an alarm that goes off that says, how will, and then I pick one quality like prosperity or joy or happiness or love, and say, I wonder how prosperity will show up today. And because I have really worked hard in my Blisscipline to stop the BS, and Blisscipline is from Michael Bernard Beckwith, by the way, my big brother. He's one of the teachers from The Secret. And he wrote the foreword to my upcoming book, 8 Ways to Happiness, from Wherever You Are. He talks about a Blisscipline that is it's not you have, it's like a shift from you have to do this, you're supposed to do this, and you need to do this, to I really want a life that's 88% happy. And in order to do that, I have to take responsibility for cleaning out my BS. I have to take responsibility for how I have stayed in situations that are not working for me, how I have continued to think thoughts that are not good for me, how I have created habits in my life, like complaining, that keep me in that. That's why I have a 21-day app called 21 Day Fast from Complaining. Little commercial, sorry. But it's something that really, helps you take responsibility for what you're doing and stop pointing your finger at the person who hurt you. I'm not saying that, it was okay. I'm not forgiving on your behalf, but I'm asking everyone, really, are you going to let the guy or the girl who broke your heart in high school ruin the rest of your relationships for the rest of your life? You really want to do that? I mean, that's your choice. But it's like, wow, what we do to ourselves is so much worse than what was done to us in the beginning. Ooh, that's good. I got to write that down. That's what we're doing. And we don't have to do that. The most powerful tool that human beings have is choice and focus. And if I can get a handle on that, then I have a life beyond my wildest dreams.
I'm going to have to shay everything.
Yes. There we go.
I think we're going to call this podcast number 1, Shay.
There you go.
into Life Unscripted. And then before I move on to the next one, where Janie does have some wonderful, questions for you. You shared something again from the previous show about the passenger in the seat of basically the passenger is a symbolism or analogy of the control that the past still has in your. And I want our listeners from around the world to really benefit from that knowledge.